Good evening and welcome to tonight's Fort Wayne Community Schools Board of School Trustees meeting. We begin this meeting as we do each meeting with the Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
And now we have roll call of members.
Good evening, Steve Corona from the 5th District.
Good evening, Antoinette Payne, District 4.
Julie Hollingsworth, District 1.
Noah Smith, District 3.
Jennifer Mathias, District 2.
Ann Duff, Member at Large.
And to my left we have Dr. Mark Daniels, Superintendent, Fort Wayne Community Schools, and Angie Filler, Clerk of the Board, and I'm Maria Norman, Member at Large. This evening we begin with awards and recognition, and we have the Indiana Adult Education Program of Excellence, and my computer still isn't working. Okay, thanks. It is recommended that the board recognize Lonnie Heck and our adult education program for being honored with the designation of Indiana Adult Education Program of Excellence by the Indiana Department of Workforce Development. The Indiana Department of Workforce Development created the programs of excellence aware to recognize adult education programs that exceed state goals and expectations in multiple areas of performance and serve as a model provider of adult education services in Indiana. This recognition reflects the remarkable work Lonnie and his team continue to do in providing high-quality education and training opportunities for adult learners across our district. This achievement speaks volumes about the dedication, innovation, and impact of our adult education program, as well as the strong leadership Lonnie has provided. Please join me in celebrating this well-deserved honor and in expressing appreciation for the commitment that makes our adult learners' success possible. Thanks for all your work, Lonnie. Thank you to your team as well.
Thank you.
Next up, we have the iRead results from 2024-2025. It is recommended that the board recognize increased performance on the iRead assessment for the 2024-25 school year across our elementary schools. Collectively, our elementary schools achieved an 83% passing rate on iRead for the 24-25 school year. This represents a 6% increase from the last year and an 18% increase since we began our intentional focus on the science of reading. Fort Wayne Community Schools remains committed to reaching our goal of 95% passing by 2027. We will now share a brief video highlighting the outstanding workings happening across our schools. Following the video, we will recognize schools for the following achievements: 100% passing rate on iRead, above 90% passing rate on iRead, highest growth on iRead. And now for the video.
I think that our success and those of my peers with huge percentage growth across the district, but also a focus on literacy, which is our district's big initiative that's been a push for a couple years. They're having this growth because we have leaders in place. We have instructional coaches, support staff that all are buying into the collective responsibility and vision that is not just one grade level.
So literacy to me is not only the ability to read and write, but having an understanding of it, especially for kids at this age. If they can read all the words on the paper, it doesn't mean much if they can't take away from it what it is that they just gathered.
Most of my career I taught kindergarten and first grade, and that's just very magical to see a child begin to read. It's like seeing them walk for the first time or listening to them talk for the first time. It means a lot to me.
Teaching literacy in kindergarten is the foundation of everything, and it is our job to really hone in and take that time and really teach them as much as we can about reading.
What is this? Web. What did you hear first? Oh, good job.
And then talking about the work that has been built from kindergarten, Miss Canary
and Miss Julie Burns and the rest of the staff implemented the Power Hour to where we make sure that all the students get a dedicated 20 to 30 minutes of reading intervention, and that program has shown remarkable gains, and I think it led to the success that we had this year.
My role here and part of the success that we see at Irwin is building at the foundational level. So in kindergarten, what I kind of look at it as is like we're building this foundation of like building your house, and you want that to be your strongest piece in building your literacy or building your home. And then in first grade you put this layer on, and in second grade there's another layer, and in third grade now you have another layer, and you're building your home up based on what you have started down here at the very beginning of their literacy journey.
Into your blending hand. Ready? Add, mad, ag, sad,
Again, what we're trying to do is to create great students, great humans, great readers, and think about where they can go within their career path after they leave us in high school.
I think the key word would be intentionality, along with commitment, ensuring every moment is maximized for the kids who deserve this opportunity in the world.
We are trying to ensure that kids are loving to read and reading to learn, and that they can enjoy the process off of tablets and off of short videos.
Kids are interacting with books during their small group instruction, during their whole group instruction, during their STEM instruction, in the media center, oftentimes even in math or music or art, there is reading involved, and reading of a real text, not just a online text or on a device.
I think for Fort Wayne Community Schools as a whole, we get excited about what could Fort Wayne be in 10 years, in 15 years. You know, we want to keep our students here in Fort Wayne, and we want to be able to enjoy what they bring to Fort Wayne as adults and as professionals.
I think it means a lot in just so many different ways, not only for just the city of Fort Wayne, but for the state of Indiana as well, because having that success is showing that what we're doing is working. And of course, trying to implement that then in other areas, other schools, other districts, other states, because we all want kids to have success.
If Fort Wayne Community Schools continues to do what it's doing in its trajectory, Fort Wayne, greater Fort Wayne, will continue to grow.
I think that this helps, create a bright outlook for the future. Having Superintendent Daniel really focus on literacy, and then having the administration team make that their clarion call to ensure that students can read by third grade, I think is a great way forward. And it also empowers our kids to have agency and read about the things that they want to become.
I would say maybe what's behind the test score that you don't see is all the love and care and passion that went into helping our students achieve great things, knowing that there were some things, some barriers that were in the way, and that we were able to work through them to the best of our ability to give them every opportunity that they could to be successful as young readers. As we continue to work with them and continue to see them in third, fourth, or fifth grade, it's just watching all their successes, maybe where some of their weaknesses are, and addressing those along the way.
That's great. All right, first up we have Croninger Elementary proudly celebrates achieving a 100% passing rate for all third graders on the iRead state assessment. This is the second consecutive year that Croninger has achieved this remarkable accomplishment. Rachel Mers, principal of Croninger, along with staff members, please come forward so we may congratulate you.
Congratulations.
Congratulations, yeah. All right, next up we have Irwin. Irwin Elementary proudly celebrates achieving a 100% passing rate for all third graders on the iRead state assessment. Dr. Brandon Foster, principal of Irwin, along with staff members, please come forward so we may congratulate you. Congratulations. Next up, we have Brentwood Elementary is proud to share that 97.7% of third grade students passed the iRead state assessment. Brentwood showed growth with an increase of 17.4% passing from the previous year. Matthew Megan, principal of Brentwood, along with staff members, please come forward so we may congratulate you. Congratulations. Good job.
Way to follow directions.
Indian Village Elementary is proud to share that 90.2% of third grade students passed the iRead state assessment. Indian Village showed growth with an increase of 24.7% passing from the previous year. Kara Miller, principal of Indian Village, along with staff members, please come forward so we may congratulate you. Congratulations. Levon Scott Academy is proud to share that 90.3% of third grade students passed the iRead state assessment. Levon Scott showed growth with an increase of 32% passing from the previous year. Ashley Simpson, principal of Levon Scott, along with staff members, please come forward so we may congratulate you. Congratulations. St. Joe Central is proud to share that 91.8% of third grade students passed the iRead state assessment. Suzanne Tyman, principal of St. Joe Central, along with staff members, please come forward so we may congratulate you. Squeeze together.
Squeeze together here.
Congratulations. Thank you. Studi Elementary is proud to share that 80.4% of third grade students passed the iRead state assessment. Studi showed significant growth with an increase of 37.9% passing from the previous year. Beth Kleber, principal of Studi, along with staff members, please come forward so we may congratulate you.
Impressive.
Yes, great growth. Thank you so much. Congratulations. All right. Well, that was exciting. Great growth. Good job. I think Miss Canary summed it up nicely when she said what you don't see behind the scenes is the amount of love and support that the staff give the students. So I love it. Great. Congratulations, everyone. Next up, we have our consent agenda, which includes approval of minutes from the regular meeting on September 8th, 2025, vouchers and payroll, the personnel report, and required disclosures. Is there a motion on the floor?
So moved.
Second.
Thanks, Ann. Thanks, Jen. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Dr. Daniel?
Yes, thank you. So we have a new Chief of Human Resources, and that is Michelle Bosworth. So Michelle, if you please stand for a second. She comes to us from Chattanooga, Tennessee, where she served as Market Vice President of Human Resources at HCA Healthcare Park Ridge Health Systems. With nearly 20 years of experience in human resources across industries, including healthcare, education, high tech,
banking and manufacturing. Michelle brings a wealth of expertise to her new role. She is highly skilled in employee relations and is dedicated to support a positive work culture while helping employees reach their full potential. She is also a native of Hartford City, so she's excited to be or to return to Northeast Indiana. So very excited about her coming on board, and we have taxed her with the first thing she needs to do is hire more teachers. So just a little thing.
No small feat.
No small feat.
Well, welcome.
Welcome.
Yes. Okay, we have no old business, so we move on to new business. Steve, does your computer work?
Yes.
Could you do 8, please?
It is recommended the board approve the purchase of Lenovo Chromebooks from Trafera of St. Paul, Minneapolis, Minnesota, in the amount of $144,926, and Dell laptops from Secured Tech of Fortville, Indiana, in the amount of $322,664. You see the price differential from the two companies, and the total amount of $467,589. The purchase of the Lenovo Chromebooks will be used to replace those student devices that were not returned from the 24-25 school year. The Dell laptops are being purchased as part of our Northrop Students Device Replacement Plan. We were able to secure Lenovo pricing from Trafera that is below contract pricing, and Dell pricing from Secured Tech that is also below pricing requirements here in the state of Indiana. Funding will come from the Common School Fund loan and the Operations Fund. Kevin Grubel, Director of Technology, is here to answer any questions about this recommendation.
Thanks, Steve. Is there a motion on the floor?
So moved.
Second. Thanks, Ann. Thanks, Tony. Any questions for Kevin? Okay, I'm going to go. Okay. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? All right, next up we have emergency projects. Tony, are you up?
And let me move down it. My computer. Okay, it is recommended that the board declare emergency for the following projects and allocate funds from the emergency allocation within the capital projects plan. Portage Middle School hot water heater, the amount of $10,356. Wayne High School replace parking lot pole damaged by vehicle, $12,350. Transportation Center repairs to sanitary sewer and water main, $16,347.25. Abbott Elementary replaced 5 damaged condenser coils and chiller, $26,605.29. Northrop High replaced compressor and HVAC unit serving ruined room, $11,404.62. And Northwood Middle repair water main break, which is $10,571 for a grand total of $87,634.66. The 2025 capital projects plan consists of all capital projects that cost $10,000 or more. New projects over $10,000 determined after the CPP was approved are required to follow advertisements and approval requirements of an amended CPP. However, IC 20-40-18-6 allows the board to determine that an emergency exists and therefore amends the current CPP without the usual amendment procedure. The 2025 Operations Fund budget includes an appropriation for emergency capital projects. Pete Smith, Director of Maintenance and Operations, will be available to answer questions.
Thanks, Tony. Is there a motion on the floor?
Move for approval.
Second.
Thanks, Julie. Thanks, Noah and Steve. Any questions for Pete?
I've got one question, Pete, on the Abbott work. Was that vandalism that damaged those coils?
No, we believe it was really a manufacturing defect where those coils are soldered together on the U-bends. That's typically where we see that type of failure. And so we had one failure, we started investigating it, we found some pinhole leaks, and it just kind of progressed until we discovered all 5
Not
coils.
under warranty?
It's not under warranty, unfortunately, no.
And
We tried to go back to the manufacturer, but we ran into a dead end.
Okay.
On things like when someone hits a light pole, is that, can we pursue them for insurance, or is that?
A bus hit the light pole.
Oh, our bus hit the light
Yeah,
pole.
bus
Oh.
backed into a light pole, so
Self-inflicted.
unfortunately not, no.
Okay.
With the Northrop replacement of that compressor,
Yes.
was that something that we just replaced?
Yeah,
With the
that was over the summer. That unit that was there was not replaced as part of the renovation. So that's an air handler and a condenser unit, and basically the compressor failed in it over the summer.
Okay, so it wasn't something
It was
that
not
we
part of
just
the
put
new
in?
equipment.
Okay,
Correct, yeah.
got it, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
And how's the, all right, I know we have an emergency fund. Are we still okay?
$18,540 is left.
Left,
Out of the
okay.
200, it starts with 200, so.
All right, so we shouldn't hit any more light poles, eh?
Well, let's hope not.
All right, any other questions for Pete? Okay, thanks, Pete.
Thank you.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? All right, next up, we have the Wayne High School facade replacement. Julie?
Yep.
Thank you.
It's recommended that the board approve the facade replacement at Wayne High School by Shawnee Construction in the amount of $545,215. The work at Wayne High School includes the replacement of the EFIS system on the new tech portion of the building with a metal panel system. The projects will utilize 2020 school building basic renewal, restoration, and safety project bond funds. And Heather Krebs, Facilities Director, is available to answer any questions.
Thanks, Julie. Is there a motion on the floor?
So moved.
Second.
Thanks, Ann. Thanks, Julie. Any questions for Heather?
So Heather, was this something that was always intended or like discovered that it was necessary? We discovered that it was necessary.
We've had ongoing issues with the system. EFIS is exterior finish insulation system. I'm actually surprised, Julie, you didn't ask. But it is basically that insulation board gets adhered to the substrate on the exterior of the building, and then kind of a stucco gets applied on top of it. It's something that was very popular through the 80s and 90s when the New Tech Edition was built, but as you get this much age on it, we see a lot of moisture problems with it. So we have experienced some ongoing problems over the years, but as a cost-saving measure during the design of the renovation, we held off on doing this because it wasn't an extremely urgent need, but it was a nice to take care of if we had savings. So that's the point that we're at. We've got some savings. We'd like to take care of it so it lasts well into the future.
Cool. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Any other questions? I went to the open house on Saturday. The cafeteria is magnificent.
It is amazing.
Yes.
Yes.
I was blown away.
I was very happy by the number of people. I'm not sure the exact number of people that came through on Saturday, but I was thrilled to see the turnout that was there.
Yeah, it was good. Any other questions for Heather? Thank you.
Thank you.
Yep. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Next up, we have the 1028 public hearing. Heather Krebs, Facility Director, will be giving the 1028 preliminary hearing presentation on the district-wide furnishings, facility improvement, and bus and equipment acquisition projects.
Thank you, President Norman. I will share the information that I would present today has not changed from the initial presentation I gave 2 weeks ago on September 8th. And remains viewable on the public website. Would you like me to repeat that presentation for this hearing?
I appreciate your willingness to present. However, we will use this time to take public comment. If anyone here would like to comment, please come to the microphone. We ask speakers to limit remarks to 1 3-minute session. Okay. As no one wishes to speak, the hearing is now closed. Thanks, Heather.
Thank you.
All right, next up on the agenda is the budget report for 2026. CFO Rosemary Shipman will present a report that describes the year 2026 budgets for the Education Fund, Operations Fund, Debt Service Funds, and Safety Referendum Fund. The public budget hearing will be held on October 13th. Board adoption is scheduled for those budgets on October 27th, 2025. And Rosie, the floor is yours.
Well, thank you.
Good evening, President Norman, Dr. Daniel, board members, and yes, we have a lot of them tonight. Everybody's interested in the budget. I apologize, my voice is kind of bad. I have allergies. So we're going to get started tonight. The agenda is going to be the calendar, the information that we use, the data that we gather, the Education Operation Fund revenue and appropriations, the debt funds, and then we'll do a summary and overview. So headed into the adoption calendar, you know that today is the presentation. Then we'll have in 10 days, we'll have the public hearing, and then on the 27th, the adoption of the budget. And then by January 1, we expect to get the 1782 notice that will verify all of our rates. Moving on, the data that we use to collect, did you know that Fort Wayne Community Schools is 168 years old this year? We have today approximately 28,390 students as of this morning. And part of those students, I kind of wanted to break it down to give you a little background. The pre-K students that we have this year is 1,115. AMP-Lab students participating are 427. 395 of those are our own students, and then we have 32 from out of district. The Anthus Career Center has 989 students, and they said this is a high. This is the first year that they've had that many students. 702 of them are from the district, and 287 of them are from non-district. We have about 4,000 teachers, support staff, administrators, 62 buildings, with 50 of them in school, and 60 years is the average age, 60 plus years.
Rosie, what did you say about the Anthus number?
That's the highest number of students they've had participate, Sandy Adams said.
Wow.
Yes. So moving on to the revenue. As you know, the foundation is based on non-virtual and virtual. We receive 85% for virtual students, while we receive 100% for non-virtual. This year, the non-virtual is 6,967. The virtual is 85% of that at 5,922. Complexity is the same way. For a non-virtual student, we receive $1,053. We receive $895 for a virtual student. So the basic grant we get for a regular in-house, in the building student is $8,020 approximately, and then it's $6,817 for the virtual student. As of this morning, we have 26,826 students non-virtual and virtual at 449. That has climbed by 20 students in a week.
To be clear, Rosie, our foundation dollars in complexity does not include any pre-K, right? This is
Correct.
K through 12.
Correct.
We have 1,100 other kids that we're funding through other resources.
Yes, and that's what I wanted to make sure that you understood. The total number that I gave you at the 28,390 does include the pre-K. The numbers I'm showing you here are only the students we are paid the basic grant for. And that would be a total of about $218,205,353 right now is my projection. But enrollment, ADM, drives that number.
And you said that the number had grown by 20 in a week. Was that the virtual or non-virtual enrollment?
The virtual.
Virtual. Oh, okay.
The operation fund.
This was new students?
They could be coming from, the number has not fluctuated a lot between virtual and non-virtual, so it could be just students that have moved to virtual.
Thank you.
I just noticed this morning when I was making that, changing the slide, that it had changed. Moving on to the operation fund. This year, it's been a treat with Senate Enrolled Act 1. I'm not really sure where this is going to end up because, as you can see, we are allowed the growth factor. Since 2024, it's been flat at 4%. They have told us that we are not guaranteed that from this point on. Right now, we're working with the assumption it will be 0. We're hoping, we're hearing it might be 3 to 4%, but that is not guaranteed. So when you grow, of course, when expenses grow, you want your levy to grow. We're not guaranteed that's going to happen. So we are allowed to raise a maximum levy of $70,892,953. But as you see, the next line, the tax cap loss, this is where Senate Enrolled Act 1 comes in. You will notice that our tax cap loss in '24 was 3.5, then it went to 4.4, it's moving to $10,760,000. That's what I have to put into my budget. That's what the DLGF is advertising that my circuit breaker loss will be. I'm hoping, I'm praying, all of my advisors are saying it's going to be about 8.3 million, but that's still the Senate Enrolled Act, the property tax, all of that together, that's what's bringing that circuit breaker up to 10 million. So I have to put that in. So my property tax levy will bump down to $60,132,953. That's quite an impact right there.
Yeah.
How do you make up for that? I always, Steve, put this in for your information. Since 2009, we've lost $101.4 million to circuit breaker.
So Rosie, would this say our taxpayers will see $10,760,000 less in taxes paid next year and their real estate property taxes?
No.
No?
I wish that were the case. So if we look at the total revenue that we're going to be receiving, you'll notice that this year there's a change. If you look at the last column, there's going to be a change by $11 million in the education fund. And that's due to the fact that they did give us a slight increase. They were claiming it was 4%. It's really about 2% over the biennium. And that has the foundation has the curricular materials wrapped into that at $160 million. However, I have to keep the curricular materials separate because it has to pay for textbooks only. So that is not an increase that I can use for negotiations for teachers. It has to be kept separate. So then you move on, you have textbook rental or textbook materials at 4.3 coming in flat, and we get $158 a student. They did not increase the dollar amount from $160 million last year. So it remains flat. You can see that our taxes, we're going to lose about 2.5 million. All of our excise and all of that is coming in less. Interest is going down from 55 million or 5.5 million to 5 million. Indirect costs are going down. We did lose ESSER dollars last year, so that's going down by 200,000. And then just miscellaneous revenue. When we sell computers or someone pays a fee, I project that going down by $2,700. So as you can see, our transfer is going to be about $9 million to the operation fund, and that's only 3.5% of our education, our education fund. So we are allowed to transfer up to 15%, but we are sticking right around the 3 to 4% every year.
Great.
Last year, for the 24-25 school year, we lost $42.8 million to choice, to scholarship.
And Rosie, the $4.3 million that we get for curricular materials, did that cover all of our curricular materials?
No.
Do you have that number?
I don't, but I can get it for you.
Okay, thank you.
So moving on to the appropriation side. The education fund is going to be $269 million this year. That's a 10% increase from over last year's. There are three things that are driving that 10%. We have put cost of living raises into the education fund. The teacher retirement fund moves from 6% to 7.1 January 1 of 26. And then we also have a $2.4 million increase in health insurance. Those are the driving factors behind that change. Moving on to the operation fund, it's an $85,990,046 budget. It's 4% under last year. While utilities and health insurance are going up in the fund, we also have then moved bus replacement to a GO bond. We've taken our fixed projects out of our CPP. So our CPP, instead of being $18,850,000, it's going to be $11 million, because we're moving $7 million of that into a GO bond to try to eliminate some expense so that we can leave funds in the education fund and not have to make such a large transfer. We're trying to work a strategy to keep our operational expenses lower, even though the rising cost of utilities and things like that.
Is that going to be an option every year?
so far. If legislation changes, it may not be, but it's been in legislation for a long time that we could buy buses, and controlled projects or fixed projects could be a go bond. The capital projects, just to go over what you know that each year you have to adopt a capital projects fund. It's going to be $11,850,000. It's a three-year plan. There's 62 buildings that we're trying to upkeep. 50 of them are schools. The average age being 60 plus years. It's 145.7 square miles. Some other interesting facts: 900 acres of grass. There's 4 million square foot of roofs. 3,700 doors. You've got 194 boilers and 4,000 pieces of HVAC equipment. That's just for Pete there. 3,000 clocks, 30,000 light fixtures, and 9,000 plumbing fixtures. That's what your CPP budget takes care of. And to see that dwindle away because we don't have the funds to take care of it, how do we replace those things? That's my big worry. We also are doing a bus replacement plan. This is required also for you to adopt. It's a 5-year plan. Buses have to be 12 years old. And then some interesting facts about the transportation. It's 179 buses and 47 activity buses. There's 890 routes: midday, regular, special ed, and activity. They transport 11,107 students. They drove 2.4 million miles last year, and they used 314,000 gallons of gas or fuel. So, moving on to the debt funds. This year's debt is going to be about $51,594,984. You can tell that the state technology loans are lower right now because we do not have the new technology information yet. So that's part of the anticipated. The general obligation bonds, it's about 5.6 million, and then anticipated is 17,710,000. So the debt service is going to come in at about 26,507,984, and that has a tax rate right now before anything is done with the DLGF of 2,075. Referendum debt's 25,087,000, and that's coming in with a tax rate of 0.1763. When you look at the bottom, I know you're going to choke. It's 0.3838. It is very high right now, but because of Senate Enrolled Act 1, it's going to be higher than the promised rate we've ever had of 3.028. I'm looking for it this year. I'm anticipating it to be about 34 or 35 cents. So that's where we're ending up with the debt funds. Safety referendum, we are going to go to the 10 cents. I did create the budget at 12 million, even though that the levy is going to be about 14 million. I don't know that it will come in at 14 million, but we want to make sure that we're getting as much funding as we can before Senate Enrolled Act 1 takes hold of our AV. The $12 million budget is about the same. It has therapists, it has the security staff, therapeutic counselors, the guards. We have added the therapeutic counselors this year just because we couldn't get more SROs. So since this is a safety and well-being, we have taken the therapeutic counselors, moved them from Title I to free up Title I dollars. So this is helping use that grant. And then the vehicle operation, that's just like the gasoline for the security vehicles. There's soft mirror materials that we need for the open gates, and well-being advisors are also in there. So here is the summary. As you can tell, the recommended appropriation for the education fund is $269,483,566. The operation fund is $85,990,046, bringing the grand total for those two funds at $355,473. The debt funds, again, is $51,594,984, and the referendum, $12 million. The levy, it's looking like it's going to be about $70,892,953 until they take our $10,760,000. And then the debt funds, we're hoping to gain the levy of $53,223,158. Again, the rate at 38.38 should come in lower after the DLGF does their miracles and gives us our 1782 notice January 1, and then 10 cents tax expected rate for the safety referendum. Before I go on, I need to thank Annie and Cassie for helping me with the budget this year, and every time that you all had to listen to it, thank you again, and at this time I'll take any questions.
So the contribution to teacher retirement fund, so that you said went from 6.3 to 7.1?
It's going from 6% to 7.1.
Okay, 7.1. So did we do that out of the goodness of our heart?
No.
Because we believe that teachers should be supported and financially supported and be able to, retire comfortably?
While I believe all of that, the state did mandate it.
Okay, so that was a state mandate. Did the
Yes.
state give us additional funds to be able to cover that?
They increased our education fund this year with $160 million for curricular materials. So no, they did
That's
not.
across the
much?
state, not.
The $160 million went into the foundation, but that did not, the portion that we're getting for textbook rental.
Statewide?
Yes, statewide.
So you said we went from 6 to 7.1, so that's a 1.1% increase. And how much do we, on average, increasing teacher pay next year throughout all of our 4,000 plus teachers?
On average, how much? About 2%.
2%. So that's about 3.1% there.
Mhm.
And what do we get from the state? 2%?
Yeah,
So my math
a little,
teachers out would say
a little bit over
that
it, not
doesn't
much.
quite-
A little bit over that.
Okay.
Maybe by 2.1%, I believe I figured.
So walk me through these numbers. I'm looking at our rate going up by 8 or 9 cents. With Senate Bill 1 impact, we collect less property taxes
Yes.
from 63 to 60 million.
Mm-hmm.
And so what we're doing, what you're proposing is to make up some of that reduction through the GO bond money.
Yes.
So,
And our anticipated debt is 17 million, which is high, but we're getting ready to sell bonds in the next 30 days, and then we'll be selling bonds the first of next year also.
okay.
Have we gotten our assessed valuation yet?
I just received it last Friday,
Oh, okay.
and it was 5.4%, and it's down. Last year, it was over 9%, and it's only at 5.4 this year.
Well, that's still pretty healthy.
It's better than I expected.
Yeah.
I was expecting 0, to be quite honest.
Okay.
Well, that's going to help.
Yes.
I'd just like to reiterate, thank you, Rosie, to you and Annie and your team, and to your predecessors. The only way we can survive this is eating into what we have. And you in particular, and Kathy Friend prior to you, put the district in a really good financial position to be able to handle this unfortunate circumstances. Long term, I don't know how we do it. Obviously, we don't have enough revenue coming in to support these expenses.
We're going to be very wise in our spending.
Yeah.
We're going to have to learn to live by the budget that we create and say no when it's not in the budget. We're going to have to be very, very purposeful.
Well, thank you.
Yes, I agree. Thank you. You've, in some of
You're
our
welcome.
private meetings, you've mentioned several ways that the district has sought to cut costs. And the detail to which you've gone to do that is, impressive, because I know that we are looking for cost savings anywhere and everywhere.
I have an
As long as it
analytical
doesn't
mind.
As long as it doesn't affect the classroom.
Yeah, and that's why I try to analyze everything we're doing as I'm putting it on paper and look what is building, how do you get where you need to go? So I'll keep working at it.
So again, thank you to you
You're
and
welcome.
your team for,
My pleasure.
I know it's a team effort that for all that, for all your work and expertise.
Thank you.
One question for me, sorry.
Okay. That's okay.
Sorry, don't put you on the spot. But as Steve alluded to, you were talking about switching things to the GO bonds in order to save money. Are there any other things that we're specifically looking at to save money with these losses?
There are many things that we can start looking at. There's health insurance. There's many different aspects of health insurance that we can look into next year. Right now, we have an 80-20 split. That could go into a 70-30. I mean, there's just so many technology, can you look at a longer technology plan or a replacement plan? Instead of 5 years, maybe you push it to 7 years. I know when talking with Jack, our technology, we try to keep everything that has a warranty on it and things like that. You want to keep it in service and then get another replacement. Well, maybe do we take the risk, You can always look at staffing. There's energy savings that we can try to look at. Donations. We have several people that have donated to the district, and those are things that can help. So.
To be clear, some of those things like the health insurance mix piece would cost our employees more money. It saves us as a district, but it'll cost our employees more money.
Right, and that's why you hate to touch on those things unless it's drastic. I mean, look back at 2010 when we had to cut all of our custodians, all of our instructional assistants. They didn't receive perf any longer. I mean, those are hard things to do. And so you really don't want to do that. I'd rather look at different ways that we can internally, operationally do make cuts.
All right. Thanks so much, Rosie.
Thank you.
All right, that brings us to board member comments. Yes, board member.
Well, this evening was a story of contradictions, wasn't it? We lead off with elementary schools just killing it with improvements in reading scores, just astonishing levels of improvement, and then closing on a very sober note of the state reducing the amount of money we have to improve education. So we do. I mean, I credit Rosie for being very creative in how we try to mitigate some of that loss, but bottom line is it's always going to be money. It's always about money and how we use that wisely to improve education and learning. So we're going to have to roll up our sleeves and be even more creative about where those pockets of savings might be. So a lot of hard work ahead. That's it.
Thanks, Steve.
Well, I want to congratulate the schools again for the iRead scores, and I know it's going to be tough trying to find the savings, and hopefully we can keep that too out of the classrooms and keep moving forward so we can get those iRead scores and other scores, iLearn scores up. So.
Okay.
Yeah, definitely.
I am happy that the teacher retirement contribution was increased from 6 to 7.1%. And Rosie, I forgot to ask you, I believe I'm correct, when it was a 6% contribution by the district, that was matched by the state, am I correct? So is the 7.1% matched by the state?
I'm going to have to get back to you. I don't know.
Okay.
I don't remember reading that it's going to be matched.
I would be interested in hearing that answer.
Okay.
Okay, thank you. But again, congratulations to teachers and staff for that little retirement increase, well deserved. And I want to congratulate Steve. He is now the president-elect of the Indiana School Board Association. I'm assuming we will be getting an invitation to your inauguration.
Yes.
Okay. Okay. And just one comment about the events of the past several days. As we're all aware, our country had the murder of a prominent national activist, and like you, I've read several commentaries and thing about what's going on. And one of the most impactful, I thought, was from Angelo Monte, who is a local pastor, but he is also, he and his wife Marie started Alive Community Outreach, and they operate our Peacemakers program. And I'm just really grateful for both of them. That Peacemaker program is in all of our high schools, and it's based on Martin Luther King's principles of nonviolence. And you know, one of the things that, excuse me, one of the things that King preached along with nonviolence is that you know, hate cannot drive out hate. Only love can do that. And that is the type of leadership that I'm grateful to have in our schools, and I think we need more of in our country.
Yep.
Thanks, Julie.
No comment.
Jen?
I want to reflect back to those that we celebrated tonight, and we saw a tremendous amount of growth with Studi. And what I do believe is, I know that the state is coming out soon with our A through F grading, and it seems to me that since I've sat on this board or even had children in the system, we've had multiple measures of how we are graded and whether we're successful or not. But if we were to tell our true story, specifically in these last couple of years with our intentional reading and literacy that we're focused on, we've seen a tremendous amount of growth in our students. And I believe that even though if your school was not recognized tonight, I know that you're all doing that hard work in each and every one of our schools, and we will continue to see success with our students. And every one of our students deserves that effort that we put in, because every one of our students, and I mean all of our students, deserve a quality education. And I feel like we've really focused back at that elementary level in giving those the foundation, like one of our teachers has said, that base foundation to raise them up and use that as the, you know, the point of which they can build upon. So I'm very proud of our elementary school teachers, all of them. Even though we recognize just a few, I do believe that we will continue to see growth. And I do believe as a district, that is our story, growth. Not A through F, not how we're graded, but the growth that we see in our children every single day. And I would really like for us to kind of focus on that coming up, even if we are being graded on whatever it is that they come out to tell us. We need to tell that story a little bit more. And I'm very proud of you all.
Thank you for mentioning the Peacemakers, Julie, because I was going to talk about that once again. I know that's my hot topic all the time, but it's just such a great program. Today at Rotary, Marie Manti was our guest speaker to talk about the Peacemaker program, so I just thought she would be talking about the program and what it does and blah, blah, blah. But she brought two amazing young people with her, two students that were went through the Peacemaker Academy and were peacemakers at Southside. And so they both talked. It was just so moving, so impactful for all of us in the audience to learn about the lives of these young people, you know, what their lives were before they went through the program, and then what that meant to them to go through the program and their life after, you know, being in that program and becoming a peacemaker. And they just talked about the impact of that, how the principles of nonviolence changed their lives. It was just great to see, very moving for all of us. And then when they did the Q&A at the end, you know, put these kids on the spots, and they just had such meaningful answers to the questions that these adults asked them. And the audience was just so engaged. You could hear a pin drop. Very eye-opening for, I think, a lot of us, which, you know, builds empathy to those that we serve every day. And we even went overtime. If you know anything about Rotary, we start and begin exactly at noon and end exactly at 1. And so we went over because we didn't even realize, we were going over because it was just so engaging to hear these young people. And I told Dr. Daniel at the end of the meeting that, obviously we did the right thing when we chose to increase the Peacemaker program to all 5 of our high schools. Just the impact it has on our young people was just wonderful to see. The Alive Community outreach has been 5 years now in the making. So I don't know if any of you are going to the breakfast tomorrow, but I know that they will have students speaking again at the breakfast tomorrow. So that'll be a great opportunity to see our students and how the Peacemaker Academy and the whole program in general has changed them. So tomorrow morning, we'll have more Peacemaker program graduates talking to us. So.
Thanks, Ann.
So I'll follow up with a little bit on that too. The message that our graduates were presenting to the Rotary group, my takeaway, because it actually took me a couple hours to sort of recover from that.
Yes, right.
Because we don't know what our students, we don't really know what's happening with our students when they're not in our building. And it is amazing to see, first of all, very articulate, have plans, moving forward. But I was left with this, and I happened to have a meeting right before the board meeting this evening with community leader, mentors, the importance of mentors. One of the young ladies, she actually went down to Indianapolis Ivy Tech, just didn't work out. And I kept on thinking, okay, what would happen if she had a mentor to carry her through? Because we all hit walls, right? And how can we bounce off, get back up, go forward again? The other young man at Indiana Tech, wrestling, amazing story though. And I remember, Matt, you and I will remember him because he was, yes. Yeah. And his message was always so positive. But I want to say co-curriculars, he was co-captain on both his soccer and his wrestling team. Co-curriculars really drove him, even when he didn't want to. It's like he was always the person lifting his other fellow wrestlers or soccer players. He was always that person. And you could hear it in his voice still today. But my goodness. Well, that's one. I also want to thank Matt because we had ambassadors on Saturday. You may have seen the ambassadors. So again, part of our developing leaders for our students. And thirdly, Matt, when will our students be going to be part of the mayor's youth conference or youth?
On Saturday the 27th at Bollinger Theater.
Okay.
We already have students that are signed up to be there.
Right. And again, wanting our students to be there, their voice to be present. And again, as they spoke, to prevent violence, you really need to know the root cause. And that needs to come from, my opinion, it needs to come from the kids. What is really happening, in our buildings, and thank goodness we have the support that we have. But again, how do we do a better job of our personnel connecting the kids to the persons they need to connect with, to carry them through whatever I'll just say, tribulation they're going through. But I'm so glad to hear that we do have a student group, and I would love for that to be flooded with Fort Wayne Community School students. So those three things are my comments for this evening. Thank you.
Thanks, Dr. Daniel. On Friday, the Battle of the Souths game happened. So Southside played Wayne, and I don't know if any of you were following, but Principal Oberlin challenged Principal Harrell to a friendly competition. The outcome of that game was Southside 46, Wayne 0. So I am waiting, Principal Oberlin, to see you in all green. I hope you post that. But just wanted to highlight a student athlete, Chris Moon, who's a senior there at Southside, had 13 carries for 369 yards and 3 touchdowns. He broke a school record for number of rushing yards in a single game, which was set back in 1989. So
School record was held by Lamar Smith, not against me and my Snyder team, but he went on to the NFL. So.
Oh, I didn't know that. Yes, it was Lamar Smith, yeah. And then a few board members had the opportunity to attend the Blessings in a Backpack dinner, and just wanted to say the impact that that organization is having on our students' lives. They help with Blessings in a Backpack, so those blessing backpacks go out every weekend. They also help with summer bags, Believe bags, and Brave bags. So it said that they assisted 160,000 children through their programming last year. So thank you to all the work they do and the love that they share with our students. And thank you for Sodexo for helping with that. I believe that, congratulations, Steve. And congratulations to all of our schools. Like Jen mentioned, we know that all of our teachers are working hard. It's always nice to celebrate with students and with teachers to recognize their growth and their achievements. So kudos to them. And with that, I believe we're all done.
Move to adjourn, Madam President.
Second.
Thanks, Noah. Thanks, Steve. All those in favor? Aye. Any opposed?